Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House?
Sure. Come on in.
They have cold beer and action on the game.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
It's time for the Degenerates Next Door.
Dollar bills, y'all.
My name is Jason Hammer. Rob Kendall right across from me. And Rob, dollar bills is what we have been bringing the masses over the last couple of weeks here.
Yeah, if you'd bet $1 million on all our picks, you'd be Jeff Bezos rich by this point.
We are the Degenerates Next Door, and last week, Rob, your boy here, went 4-1 against the spread on college football. We are in the midst of a 7-3 run against the spread. Now, I felt pretty good about myself on Saturday because, again, the way this show works, we do this college football program on Tuesday, and we have one that focuses on the NFL predominantly on Thursday. So I was walking around like Billy Badass, 4-1, kiss my butt, let's go. And then you, off the top rope, go 5-0 in the NFL.
Yeah, I sat down to do that show on Thursday, and I said, Hammer, I hate all these NFL picks this week. I'll probably miss them all. And hot dang, well, last night, the Lions with that 3.5-point cover, 5-0, 6-0 if you include the President's Cup, which we went heavy on with the golf. So, man, I'll tell you what, water finds its level a lot of times, but for a few moments in time, we're going to take a little victory lap, both of us, this week on the program.
So you factor in the NFL picks with the prop bets and hitting that CD Lamb prop. I was 10-5 last weekend. Let's keep it rolling, man. And listen, this show today is dedicated to one of the great gamblers of all time, Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose.
Oh, no.
I met Pete Rose in Las Vegas. Got him to sign some baseballs for the boys. It was a Christmas gift, and had a conversation with Pete. We talked about being in Indianapolis, being in Cincinnati, baseball, gambling, all types of things. And look, was the dude a bit of a hot mess? Absolutely. But did he play the damn game the way you want it played? Hell yes, he did.
And he was a true degenerate. He lost a lot of money betting on sports.
He did. And you know what? From what we know, he bet on his team to win. And that's why this show is dedicated to the late, great Pete Rose. All right, we got the victory lap out of the way here. We talked about our successes last week. And so far this year, Rob, I believe when you and I have picked the same game, we're unbeaten. Yeah. Now, let me knock on that wood right there, because we don't share our picks with each other before we crack these microphones. You've got your plays, I've got mine. And you told me one of the games you wanted to lead off with, it was one that I have as well. So please, the floor is yours, Rob. Purdue at Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a 13.5-point home favorite. You can still find 13.5 at FanDuel. It's at 14 in other places. The over-under is 47.
Yeah, this started at 12.5. Like you said, it's already up to 13.5, 14 some places. So if you're planning on getting it, I think the money is going against Purdue. And that's a big number. Like 13.5 is a big number. And Wisconsin, not a world beater by any means. They've gotten smoked twice by two good teams. They've pulverized two bad ones. So we have no idea how they are kind of in the middle. But here's what I know. I'm 3-0 this year on Fade Purdue. And you got to ride the lightning, baby. I don't know a whole lot about Wisconsin, but I do know it's a tough place to play. I do know Purdue is awful, and I do know that I'm going to fade that team until proven otherwise. Fade Purdue, give me Wisconsin minus 13.5.
Yeah, so what you're basically telling me right now, Rob, is that when it comes to fading Purdue...
And you never walk away from the table when you're on a heater.
Who was that team a couple of years ago, the Mean Green that you
North
had?
Texas, the Mean Green. I rode the Mean Green to Degenerate Green for an entire football season.
Wasn't there a team, though, that you faded? Idaho State?
Idaho State, yes. A couple of years ago, they were the worst team in Division I, and for whatever reason, odds makers didn't catch on. And I'm with you on fading Purdue here. One, Purdue stinks. But number two, this is somewhat of a bounce-back spot for a Wisconsin team that had USC on the ropes. and completely peed down their leg last week.
Yeah.
And just one of the worst second halves you could possibly have. So this is a bounce back spot for Wisconsin, but this is really about Purdue. Purdue fired their offensive coordinator this past week, Graham Harrell, and they replaced him with a guy, and this is on their press release, that has a, quote, extensive high school coaching resume.
I know this guy. Would you like the story?
Please.
Jason Simmons is his name. He was most recently the head coach at Ben Davis High School in Indianapolis. Now, I think he coached at Miami of Ohio as a running backs coach. But before that, he was the coach at Noblesville. And I knew Jason Simmons years ago, one of my first jobs in broadcasting for internet only. I was the broadcaster for the Hamilton Heights Huskies in 2004, and Jason Simmons was the assistant coach for the Hamilton Heights Huskies in 2004. That's how long this guy's been a high school coach, and he is now the offensive coordinator for Purdue.
Ask the Indiana Hoosiers how hiring a well-decorated high school coach works out. Tom Allen, Clappy McFight song. He's over at Penn State now, was given the keys to be the defensive coordinator for one of the best programs in the country, and already the players are complaining about his style and the fact they can't understand him when he's calling in plays to the communication system.
Have you watched any of these Purdue games yet, Hammer?
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter if you had Jimmy Johnson out there designing plays for this Purdue offense. I watched every Purdue game since the Indiana State game. I did not see the first game, but the three that I've bet against them in a row and have won easily, I have no idea what they're trying to do. I don't think they know what they're trying to do. I think whatever they're trying to do ain't going to work because they're not very good. I mean, it is amazing. Purdue has had some success over the years, how much they stinks.
And I am with you on this one. We are both taking the Badgers laying 13.5. All right, let's get our professional in the mix. David Stefanoff, the pro handicapper, the man behind FollowNeverFade.com. David, we got a lot of stuff to get to here, man. I want to get your college football pick, but I also want to talk a little Major League Baseball playoffs. So first, let's start with college football. What are you looking at?
Well, Hammer, thank you for having me, and Rob, thank you again. This college football Saturday, give you guys a loser. That was absolute one of the best games I've seen this year. We'll probably see this year between Alabama and Georgia. Georgia took the lead and lost, but I'm going to be back this week with a winner between Washington and Michigan. But before I do that, I'm giving away free play everywhere all for Friday night between Oregon and Michigan State. Real quick, all platforms have this free play. It's a VIP play, my biggest, strongest plays of the week. We're going to take Oregon and lay the 23 points against Michigan State. Jonathan Smith going back to Oregon, where he coached at Oregon State, where he never won a game as a coach at Oregon State and Oregon. Lay the points Friday night with the Oregon Ducks big time over Michigan State Spartans. But this week, my biggest play this week is going to be for you guys, Washington, Michigan. This line opened up. You will not believe it, guys. Michigan was favored by 4 points when this line opened up. Washington flew to a 2-point favorite. All the writings on the wall. An unranked team favored against a ranked team. Washington just lost last week against Rutgers on the road. They looked horrible. Michigan beat USC. Played fairly well versus Minnesota. Now they play Washington plays travels back home. First true road game for Michigan. Let's get that. First true road game for Michigan. Vegas has now put Washington like a 2.5, 3-point favorite some places. I released this morning to all my customers. We're going to take Washington and lay the points for Michigan. Michigan has trouble scoring. First new quarterback on the road. Washington's at home. They looked horrible versus Rutgers. They didn't score a lot of points, but neither one of these teams can score any points. We're on Washington Huskies. Lay them. I'm going to do money line right now. Some places the line's 2, some places 3. Do the money line. Lay the Washington Huskies money line against the Michigan Wolverines tonight. Michigan probably won't put up 10 points. It's going to be a low, boring game. I think the Huskies get it done at home Saturday.
We've got Oregon lined up for Friday. We got the Huskies lined up for Saturday. Listen, before we let you go, man, Major League Baseball playoffs underway right now. Playoffs, baby. Playoffs. Anything pique your interest here, David?
Hammer, like me and you are we're degenerate baseballs. We love baseball, me and you first and foremost. We like Sunday, like we talked about, we was watching baseball Sunday along with football. I think I've got a future bet. I'll let you right know. I have a future bet on the Padres just to make it to the World Series at 25-1. This is months ago. It's looking pretty good now. I think the Padres are the team to beat, Hammer, on the National League. Cease, Musgrave, and the kid they got going today, King, he's no joke. He's good. They're going to put Darvish in the bullpen. I think the Padres have a huge chance. Now, in the American League, I've said this. I'm going to say it all week long. Whoever wins this Houston-Detroit Tiger series, I think has the edge. They both got great pitching. Detroit's hot right now. They don't have the hitting like Houston does, but I think that winner of that series is going to have a strong say in the American League. Yankees are good. Everybody's going to be on the Yankees. Don't get me wrong. Yankees don't have the pitching. Dodgers don't have the pitching. And when it comes to postseason, Hammer, you know what it is. Pitching wins. I like the Padres a little bit. I kind of like the Houston Tigers, one of them guys that come out be sneaky. But what do you like, Hammer?
Listen, I texted you a little bit the other day. The hot teams usually make noise in October, and they were bad early on, but there's something brewing with this Detroit Tiger squad right now. They were one of the best teams in baseball the second half.
Exactly right, Hammer. Today's a big game for them. Huge game.
Hey, where can people subscribe and get more of your picks, man?
Hey, guys, I'm all over every platform, guys. I put a lot of free plays out every single day. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever they call it. Just type in follow@underfade.com. You can follow me every single day on Facebook. I put videos out, put a lot of gyms out everywhere, guys. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, just like everywhere. VIP, you message me directly on Facebook to sign up for VIP, guys. But, hey, I put free plays out for people to make some money. I put good luck to everybody this week, and no matter what, follow Never Fade. Thank you, Hammer. Thank you, Rob. Have a great week.
All right, Rob, you heard our professional handicapper on this program, David Stefanoff of followneverfade.com. He's in on the Huskies hosting Michigan this Saturday. You have action on this game. What do you got?
Yeah, man, I was so close to taking the Huskies, too. So if this bet doesn't hit and the Huskies do, I'm going to be kicking myself. But Michigan and Washington are basically the same team. Defense, Awesomeville. Offense, Stinksville. The most points Washington has given up this year is 24. Michigan has yet to even prove they can throw a forward pass for any sort of length. Washington isn't exactly the greatest show on turf either. And while Michigan let Minnesota back in that game late, they were pretty dominant defensively for most of the game. The over-under in this one is 40.5. That's a low number, but I, too, like to live dangerously, Hammer. Give me that under 40.5 points.
Under 40.5 for what could be a slugfest between the Wolverines and the Huskies. All right. I'm going to take you down to Arkansas.
Oh.
The Tennessee Volunteers on the road at Fayetteville taking on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Tennessee is a 13.5-point road favorite here. It's a high over-under at 60 points. And had Tennessee beaten Oklahoma last week, I would really look at taking the points in Arkansas here because that would feel like the trap game. Mm-hmm. Because you look at the next two games Tennessee plays after this week, two big rivalry games. Florida, even though they're down, but it's a rival, and then you've got Alabama coming to Knoxville. But the fact the Vols are coming off of a bye, and Josh Heupel has seen what's happened in the past when you don't take a road game seriously, when you've got the world in front of you. Go back to the Hendon Hooker year when they laid an egg at South Carolina. I like the Vols in this spot. Not because I think they're going to put up the type of points they put up against Kent State, but the Tennessee defense is incredibly underrated.
Yeah, they're good.
They may have the best edge rusher in all of college football. So if Tennessee can limit the run and if Nico takes care of the ball, I will take Tennessee to cover 13.5. And if that happens, we're going to get Rob Kendall to sing Rocky Top one more time.
Wish that I was on old Rocky Top down in the Tennessee hills.
Come on. Love it. Love it.
Did that with overalls and a farmer's hat on.
Which is kind of your Tuesday attire when you grow up in Brownsburg, Indiana. Hey, let's take a little time out. When we come back, we got more action, a lot more picks. We're going to get nuts. We got a Degenerate special. It's all coming up. We are the Degenerates next door. Back on the Degenerates Next Door, I'm Jason Hammer. Rob Kendall is with me. Let's keep the picks rolling here. College game day is on the road at Berkeley. The Hurricanes at Cal. You know, Rob, they call Cal the birthplace of free speech.
No kidding. Boy, I
Berkeley.
wonder what happened. Yeah.
What the hell happened there? The Hurricanes opened up as like a 13-point favorite, went down to 12.5. I'm seeing 10.5 right now. Miami, 10.5, road favorite at Cal. The over-under set at 54.5.
It's rare the odds move in my favor, Hammer, so I'm going to hop all over this because I had this game at 12.5 when I first started putting the picks together. Here's what I know. Cal lost to Florida State.
You can stop right there.
I mean,
Full stop right there. That we don't need any more breakdown. That's it.
means they're bad enough to lose to Florida State. And Miami, they did survive a scare last week, so their attention should be at peak level. Miami is averaging 193 yards in the run game, 49 points a game this year. They can put up the digits. They've scored 32 touchdowns in 4 games, 19 in the air, 13 on the ground. They mix it up. 10.5 is a lot. But it's a lot better than 12.5, and I had them at 12.5. I think Miami can wear them down. I'll take Miami minus 10.5.
You've got the much better quarterback, and the line seems to be going down, which usually is a red flag.
Yeah, what are we missing?
Right. But I'm with you on this one. I would have taken the Canes at 12.5. Anything 13 and under, I would have taken the Canes. I think last week was kind of a wake-up call, and we'll see what happens this week.
And let me repeat, and I cannot say this slowly enough. Cal lost to Florida State.
Imagine somebody waking up from a coma and they hear us bashing the Florida State program. Like, what? Yeah, of course they should have lost to Florida State. No, not this year. Sorry. All right. I got a lot of problems with these people. And now you're going to hear about it.
Oh no.
USC on the road taking on Row Your Boat guy in Minnesota.
You hate this guy.
The Trojans are 8.5-point road favorites. The over-under is 51.5. Row Your Boat guy and his quarter-zip jacket have beat me twice this year.
You should just stop.
I can't, Rob. I can't walk away defeated. I've got to go back. I've got to win a Minnesota game. If you remember, opening weekend, week 0, as it's known as, all we needed was a chip shot field goal from Minnesota's kicker, and not once, but twice did he kick it into the portal at the stadium.
He did you dirty.
And then last week, Michigan's cruising. I've got Michigan to cover.
Yep.
They're up 24-3 in the second half in the big house.
Yep.
And they allow Row Your Boat guy to come back and cover. So this week, you've got USC coming to town. Now, here's what you need to know about USC as a road favorite. Lincoln Riley stinks when he's a road favorite. From previous coaching jobs to now, Lincoln Riley as a road favorite, 8-18-1 against the spread.
Wow.
And Minnesota's defense is not awful. They're 22nd in FBS. That's not too bad. And they've actually played somewhat of a decent schedule. It's not like what you've seen from Ohio State or some of these teams. It feels like Minnesota's quarterback is getting better. Their running back is finally healthy, something they did not have in the early games. I am going to hitch my wagon to Row Your Boat guy. I want 8.5. I want USC to travel cross country, and Lincoln Riley stinks. He stinks, Rob, as a road favorite. Give me Row Your Boat guy. Give me the Golden Gophers. I want 8.5.
I love that you can't quit. So, I've been horrible on IU betting this year, so I just didn't bet them this week. I just said I can't. Whatever I do, it'll be wrong. Same thing with the Colts. Not you. You will come back all season if you have to get a Minnesota bet right.
I am the guy that will look at his mistake and continue to make it until I get it right, and then I will be so damn obnoxious you'll wish you never met me. So let's go Row Your Boat guy in Minnesota.
Don't even know his name.
We mentioned Ohio State a moment ago, playing one of the softest schedules in the country. They're at home as 19.5-point favorites against Iowa. 44.5 is the number, Rob.
19.5 is a lot, but here's what you got. Ohio State's at home. Ohio State statistically has the best defense in the country. Granted, Iowa also has the 15th best defense in the country. But can they do it over and over and over again? Eventually, something's got to give, right? And offensively, they got some dudes that can make some plays. Ohio State does. If they can get the Hawkeyes down early, they can put them in passing positions, which could, A, prolong the game, give me a chance to score more points, B, lead to some interceptions and fumbles, and C, put them in better field position. Again, I know 19.5 is a lot of points. Iowa's not impressed me so far this year. I'm taking Ohio State covering the 19.5.
So you're in on the Bucks at home. I'm at the point now where I look at a program like Iowa, and I feel like it's almost as an automatic under bet at this point. It doesn't matter who they play.
But I thought that earlier, too, this year against Iowa State, and they did me dirty.
James Madison on the road at Louisiana Monroe. And you're probably thinking to yourself, is this the degenerate special? No, because James Madison has played their way off of degenerate status category the last couple of years. Last year with Coach Sig, who's now at Indiana, they were ranked in the top 25. They had a College Game Day appear.
I didn't know you could play your way out of the degenerate special.
You absolutely can, and James Madison has done it. They're at Louisiana Monroe. James Madison, 16.5-point favorite on the road, which is a lot. Over-under is set at 48.5. Now, look at this James Madison offense. They're averaging 44 points a game. They put a 70 burger on North Carolina, 63 on the Fighting Jason Hammers of Ball State, and they're 33rd in team defense, which is not bad. Now, Louisiana Monroe, they might not be that great offensively, but they can run the ball. And defensively, they're okay, but I don't think they've seen anything like what they're about to see with James Madison. I think this is too many points for a road matchup, but I'm looking at that total, Rob, 48.5. I honestly think James Madison is capable of getting that by themselves if you get just a little, just an itty-bitty baby amount of help from Louisiana Monroe. Your toes are tapping. I'm captain over at 48.5.
Gentlemen, I'd like you to meet your captain, Captain Over.
Gentlemen, welcome aboard.
Captain, your navigator, Mr. Unger, and your first officer, Mr. Dunn.
Unger?
Over.
Over? Done.
We're going over 48.5. All right. Unbeaten Rutgers taking on Nebraska. Nebraska's at home. They are a 6.5-point home favorite against that unbeaten Rutgers squad, Rob. Over-under set at 41.5.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was kind of went back and forth on this, but Nebraska, I have a winning record with Nebraska this year. So Nebraska's a 6.5-point favorite. And I watched that Purdue game, and it took them a half to get it in gear. They made a lot of mistakes. They missed field goals. They didn't get fourth down conversions.
Now, to be fair, nobody walks into West Lafayette and just bosses the Boilermakers around.
When I was watching it on the tracker for a while because the President's Cup was on, it was like they would get like fourth and goal from the 1. 0 yards, 0 points for you, Rob Kendall. But they did get it together when it counted. They did win the game. They did cover the spread. And they were coming off a bounce back game. They had lost that tough game in overtime to Illinois, which kind of blew up their season. Sometimes it's hard to get motivated, but they came through. Nebraska has a better quarterback. Their D is pretty good. They are at home. I'll take the Huskers minus 6.5.
So you're hitching your wagon to Timu Mahomes to cover that number.
Is that his nickname?
That's what I call him.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of obnoxious, isn't he?
It looks like somebody dressing up as Patrick Mahomes for Halloween. It totally does. All right, going to take one more time out here, and when we come back, we've got a degenerate special. We're going to get nuts, and a listener provided us a little something, Rob.
Oh.
We've got all of that coming up. We are the Degenerates Next Door. Back on the Degenerates Next Door, nobody has more fun picking games than we do. Again, Rob and I are not professional handicappers. We do this for fun. We're betting these games, and we hope we win, but we're not charging you for any of this stuff. But if you look at our win-loss record, baby, maybe we should.
Yeah, I'm 14-11 for college, 11-9 for pros. Think about it. You'd be $5 million ahead if you'd bet $1 million a game.
And I'm coming off a 4-1 weekend. And, Rob, I've got a question for you. Are you ready to get nuts?
All right, want to get nuts? Come on.
Let's get nuts! Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts, Rob. What are we talking about?
Well, I'm going to ride the golf lightning hammer. You know, we've said for years on this sports betting stuff, I'm kind of mediocre sometimes at the other sports, but I can bet me some golf.
You are a golf betting machine.
And for Let's Get Nuts this week, where we take a thing that seems to have absolutely no chance of happening, but we think there might be a chance that it maybe could happen in some universe, we head hammer to the Pro Core Championship.
The what?
The Pro Core Championship. And look, this is down season for golf now, which means a total goober tournament. Mostly guys you've never heard of before, guys that are hanging on like grim death to their tour cards.
But correct me if I'm wrong, the money you would win on this would spend the same as getting the Tennessee-Arkansas game right.
That's right, and you can do some real damage if you get the right guy. And this week, Hammer, the right guy could be Eric Cole.
Who the hell is Eric Cole?
Let me tell you who Eric Cole is. He's the best no-namer you've never heard of recently. 3 top 10s in his last 8 starts, finished 4th in the tournament last year. A $3 bet could pay you $99 if it cashes. Let's get nuts with Eric Cole, 33-1 at the Pro Core Championship.
All right, want to get nuts? Come on.
Let's get nuts! Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
I think we just set a Guinness World Record for the amount of people at one time going, who the hell is that? Everybody listening right now, all just said the same thing. Who the hell is that? All right, fine. You want to play that game? We can play that game. I will see your Eric Cole, and I will raise you the Degenerate Special.
It's time for Hammer's Degenerate Special.
I'd like to point out we're hitting the Degenerate Special at a 75% clip.
Yes, sir, you
this
sure
season.
are.
And because we are, Rob, a listener of this podcast, came to our radio station and brought a gift for us.
Oh, how exciting.
I've got 2 shot glasses.
Oh, yes, sirree, you sure
right
do.
Here. And I got a little bottle of something.
Buddy.
And I'm going to pass this over to you.
Okay.
You tell the masses what the name of this gift we received is.
Oh, my goodness. It is the Breakfast of Degenerates from the Indiana Whiskey Company.
The Breakfast of Degenerates is the name, and a guy who has been winning on the Degenerate Special dropped this off at the front desk.
I noticed quite a bit of that whiskey's already missing, Hammer.
Hey, shut up. So let's do the Degenerate Special before we take a little sip of this here. Miami of Ohio at Toledo. Toledo is a 6.5-point home favorite. The over-under sitting at 43.5. Now, the last time we saw the Red Hawks of Miami of Ohio, they struggled to beat UMass. UMass. You can't spell UMass without ass, and it was 23-20. Meanwhile, Toledo, 23rd in FBS in offense. They're averaging 37.3 points per game. Now, they're coming off a loss, but it's a loss to a decent team. Their defense is only allowing 19 points per game. And I got a feeling Miami's offense is a little worse than some of these teams Toledo has already played. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to take some of our hard-earned money. And we are going to put it on the Toledo Rockets to cover 6.5. That is your Degenerate Special. Now, before we take this shot here, Rob, and again, I love that a listener has been betting the Degenerate Special and brought us a gift. Recap the board here. What plays do you have?
Yeah, so I got Purdue at Wisconsin. Wisconsin giving 13.5. I'm going to lay the 13.5. Purdue stinks. We fade Purdue until proven otherwise. Michigan is at Washington. We're going under 40.5. Rutgers is a 6.5-point favorite Nebraska is a 6.5-point favorite at home against Rutgers. I'm going to lay the 6.5. Miami, boy, this has gone down, but it's gone down in our favor. Miami, a 10.5-point favorite at Cal. I'm laying the 10.5, and I'm going to give 19.5 Ohio State at home against Iowa. Ohio State, a 19.5-point favorite. And for Let's Get Nuts, Eric Cole, 33-1 at the Pro Core Championship.
I'm with you on Wisconsin. Going to lay 13.5. It's a total fade of Purdue. The Vols coming off of a bye week, having time to prepare, going on the road. We're going to lay 13.5. Tennessee at Arkansas. Row your boat, guy. Come on, baby. This is our last stand. I'm asking for one more chance, row your boat, guy. Give me Minnesota getting 8.5.
Don't ever learn that guy's name, please.
We're going over 48.5. James Madison and Louisiana Lafayette. And your degenerate special is Toledo -6.5 at home against Miami of Ohio. All right, let's take this shot that the listener brought us. Again, this was from Indiana Whiskey. It's called Breakfast of Degenerates. Cheers, my friend. That is really good.
Good stuff.
That is good stuff. We will be back on Thursday with the NFL edition of this program. Until then, that is Rob Kendall for David Stefanoff of followitneverfade.com. I'm Jason Hammer. May the odds be ever in your favor. This is the Degenerates Next Door.